Welcome to the EQ Academy and today's subject, financial wealth, financial independence, buffer zone, something that gives you safety and security, that you won't get into financial stress. Okay, the concept is pretty simple. We all earn money. We all come to money, but then we invest it and we filter the world based on our empowerment. And it's very simple. You've done the chart from your EQ test and probably developed it from the previous videos. And you will understand that you filter everything that you see through that, what you've learned to love, and that which you still don't like. Now, if you have learned to love to be famous and you invest happily into good dress, into good shoes, into good clothes, into being out there and be seen, well, then that's something that will swallow up a lot of time, money, and energy. And we talk about money. So you invest happily into this subject. In the same way, if learning and knowledge has been important, you'll be traveling to workshops across the world and happily spend thousands of dollars just to learn something, because that's a great value. You increase your expertise and your knowledge, and therefore this is something you love doing, you thrive, and you don't turn around the penny 6 or 7 times, but invest it happily. Now, when you have an area where you are not empowered, that's where you will be greedy. So if somebody has, let's say, no purpose, and you ask them to give to a donation to a big cause, they're going to go like, no, I'm not investing into that. They just waste the money. They just spoil it. Whereas if you have a big mission, a big cause, you're happy to invest. In the same way, physical health. If that's not empowered, why should I buy organic food? That's so expensive. And all the supplements. I had ladies and gentlemen come into me for consultation. $250 was too much to pay, and supplements so expensive, but they were driving a Mercedes. They were, having all the luxury, the brand new iPhone. It was all no question. Whereas because health was not important, was not empowered, they didn't want to pay for that. And that's what you will notice everywhere. If you have great empowerment in relationship and you love your relationships, well, you will love to pay for private education for your children and invest into their car and give them the right food and pay for health insurance so that they're well taken care of. All the money goes into that or into your work. And many of you know it's easy to invest more and more and more money into your work instead of looking that you get more and more out of it, which is what we learn in our career department. So the question is very simple. Where do you invest your money, and where do you have problems and are greedy to invest something? And that's usually when your stick in the yellow area is very short. You haven't learned to love money, having that riches so that it starts earning money for you. And whatever comes is going out somewhere else. And that's what we call, having those big gaps in your fingers where money runs through. Well, that's an issue that many of you have. And I always say everybody is rich. It's a very natural thing, because in the areas where you are empowered, you are rich. You invested a lot of money. So if you become Mr. Health and you've developed that and you are a health coach and you're a health doctor and you've really put a lot of effort in to grow that and to maintain your health and to look after your health, then that's wealth. Something we need to remember, because all we need to do is afterwards translate it into income. The same thing, if you have learned to realize that God is love and you changed your whole life, you can teach that, you can radiate that, you can help that, you can give blessings to other people. A lot of swamis, they don't work, but they give blessings in return for food and for very high income. So there's many ways. Intellectual knowledge, you educated yourself. It's wealth, it's financial wealth, and you're sitting on it. And all you need to do is translate that into financial wealth in order to change. And family is usually one of those bottomless holes that just keeps on swallowing and swallowing and swallowing. So it's very hard to turn that into money if you look for, and fame, very easy. I have a niece, she's really empowered that area. She has millions of followers. And only just by sharing pictures of herself on Instagram, and through that she has now massive income and increases from the fame that she's been cultivating. She's earning now her income. So that's what we need to look for, how to turn what you have into financial wealth. And it's very simple. Turn your strength into money, fame, and success by converting it, by sharing it. And it's really, the concept is quite simple. If you have empowered a certain area, you are strong and powerful in that area, you've overcome all the problems, well, then there is plenty of people like you who still have those problems, who don't know how to get out of them. So you can sell, teach, share, fundraise, show all of your achievements to them, and therefore charge money. In the same way, if you're a health coach, teach, educate, inspire, and help people to go through. And all of that will then return your investment. It's not that you don't have money, you just haven't learned to turn what you have into money. And that's one of the lessons that we learn at the EQ Academy, which is really easy. Once you follow the principles of all the different 7 areas, you can translate anything. And we've done that with a lot of cancer patients who desperately need money, didn't have a buffer build up, didn't have the backup, but needed equipment. And then you start turning whatever they have into financial wealth. And I'll talk about that in a moment, but it's actually just a matter of changing habits. Very simple. A starved piglet like that, which doesn't have any savings, is not a good starting ground. So you need to build up muscles and build up volume. And that's not happening overnight, but it's going extremely fast if you set up systems. And that's why I say it's like a muscle training. You don't grow massive muscles overnight. It's a process that will require some time. But it's exponential. The more you have, the faster it goes, the more you can achieve. And it's the same thing with wealth. So starting your piggy banks and putting money aside and not using it. You see that little big chain and the lock around that piglet? Well, that's pretty much the concept that you need to do. And we do a very, very sophisticated setup at the EQ Academy with all our students to really showcase how you set that up and how you build protective means so that the money is not spent for something that will always come up. Right now I need that so urgently, and it's gone. And all your savings will deplete because your high value areas will always be in high demand. So we build safety and security, and we start building up a financial buffer that will then grow your wealth. The second part is not only changing habits, it's changing beliefs. It's kind of fascinating when you realize how many preconceived ideas can block you from getting rich. People that are rich and that are decadent, so money makes decadent. Or it stops you from having compassion for the world. Or you have a self-complex, like you have self-minimization. You don't feel worthy of money. Why should I be rich? Look at them. They are so clever, so intelligent. They can earn money. I can't. There is 100 different programs. And as we work through all of those different areas of life, we do that especially for financial matters. We look where your programs are. What kind of programs hold you back? A friend of mine, he was very spiritual, and you can't take money into heaven. Yeah, he was excusing his poverty mentality and putting an image of spirituality over the top, which wasn't correct. As soon as we showed him how to earn money, all of a sudden he was quite happy to embark on it. So it's sometimes preconceived patterns. It's preconceived beliefs that we have, or simple things that you've learned. Like as soon as you have money, the tax office takes it away. Or if you have money, it really makes challenge. You need to invest it, and that's very complicated. You lose so much into government and into wrong finances. I don't know what your situation is. I had myself quite a few, and I had to delete them in order to start building up wealth, setting up income streams. And as soon as you delete them and you do that and you build up wealth, all of a sudden you think, how screwed up was my thinking back then? But you need to get there first. And that's what I would like you to guide there so that you feel happy and content. And if you realize how much good you can do when you have financial wealth, how much you can transform and change and support the world and share education once you have that wealth, it's phenomenal. If you don't need to work for money, if you can just share knowledge without waiting for someone to pay you, that's the greatest honor of all. And that's something that you will be able to do. And that's where we really learn different techniques at the Academy, like affiliate marketing, for example. Very simple. You don't need anything. You don't need a product. You don't need any production line or stock or support or shipping or nothing. All you need to do is write about products, do reviews about products, set them up, build your income streams via your social networks, via a little website, via paid traffic. I had to learn that from a client of mine. He earned more money than I did because he was promoting my product really well with paid marketing. And I realized, wait, he's always up on top, number one in Google to be found. So I could do that actually myself, or I could set up income streams that come from that angle. So we all have to learn it. There is different ways of doing it, and we teach our students of the financial department really great ways. And what does it do? It actually builds residual income stream, multiple income streams that start working for you. And then we put the money aside. A long time ago, I was in a workshop with Donald Trump, I said that, and DeMartini, and they both said, never ever take all the money for yourself. Always put 10 and an increasing amount of money. And I think I had that in the previous slide. No, forgot that. Yes, start with 10% and never stop increasing. And once you increase, you can't go backward. And this is just a rule that you set up for yourself, but it works. So you start up with everything that you earn 10% into that piggy bank. And then you build up and you build up and you build different income streams, and some only for your savings, some for pleasure. And I have some, they only create my next toy, whatever I want to finance, and they pay in until I can afford it, or a house, or a new real estate property, or something that brings me rent. And all of them work on their own. So I can actually start feeding each area that I would like to empower individually on its own. And if I say I would like to increase the speed here and bring in more money, then I just build 2 or 3 more income streams for that particular project, like traveling around the world, taking your children on a journey around the world and teaching them real life instead of learning it out of books. Great income and great project to save for and to build income streams that allow you to do that, or to have your own house, or to finance treatments. We do that with clients that really have nothing and they start setting up to finance themselves an hypothermia dome or PMF device. And it works perfectly and actually in very short time. And it's just, you need to prove to yourself, I can do it. I am worthy of the money. I am actually doing something which helps other people, and therefore I get rewarded. Hey, great. It's a switch in your mind and it starts happening. And that's the goal that we have at the EQ Academy. Reprogramming our blockages. Reprogramming those fears of being rich, of having money, of belonging to a society where money works for you instead of you working for money.